Yeah, this is my first time doing a live stream. And I'm talking about walking bass playing and reading charts. Now, the chart that I'm reading from is for Skylark by Mulgrew Miller. It's a transcription of a solo of Mulgrew Miller playing Skylark. So if you go on YouTube and you type Skylark Mulgrew Miller, the first thing that comes up is this solo, so you can follow along. And I'm talking about two different things in this video. I'm talking about chart reading and I'm talking about walking bass. So let's say you go to a session in the studio, or let's say you get a gig where you need to be able to read charts. It's not uncommon for musicians to just hand you a chart and for you to have to read it and make music with it and make that music sound good. Okay. So please, if you have time, to follow along, you're going to type in Skylark Mulgrew Miller solo. And we are following along with this chart. And I'm going to just talk you through what you're looking at in terms of the chord symbols. Okay. So get that up and so you can follow along. I'll put a link to it in the description for anyone who watches this later. But okay, so we have this solo transcription. And as bass players, we want to be focused on what is written above the stave. So those are called chord symbols. Okay. Now, if you're unsure about these, I'm going to go through every single one and talk about what it means and what you could play, and then show you how I would walk a bass line on this. Or just play along to this, because what you'll find is walking bass is generally dictated by the drums. So when the drummer goes to the ride cymbal and starts to play quarter notes, that would be when you would know to start walking. The drummer will often lead the bass player to start walking. In the beginning, you're playing what is called a two feel. But let's just look at the first eight bars of Skylark. Okay. Now you'll look at the transcription, and you'll see we've got an E flat, and then there's a triangle. This means major 7. Okay. E flat, major 7. So that means that that chord is the first, third, fifth, and seventh of the E flat major scale. Okay, so 1, 3, 5, 7. That is what that symbol means. It means that the keyboard player or guitarist is playing an E flat major 7 chord. So when you see a triangle, that means major 7. So that is chord 1, the first chord of Skylark. Now we go to bar 2. Remember, we're looking at the area above the stave, and we have G half diminished going to C dominant 7. We're looking at the chords of Skylark. We're looking at how to play a walking bass line to this. I'm going to just talk through the first 8 bars, and then I'm going to get to playing. Then in that one bar, we have G, and we have a circle with a line through it, and then we got C7 flat 9. The G with the circle with a line through it means minor 7 flat 5. So G minor 7 flat 5. So that is 1, flat 3, flat 5, flat 7. Okay? To C7 flat 9, what C7 is a dominant 7 chord. 1, 3, 5, flat 7. And then it says flat 9. So what does that mean? That means that you have a dominant 7 chord, but then you also have this note. So keep that in mind when you're going to be walking, okay? 1, 3, 5, 7, but it's got a flat 9. So, I mean, the chord symbols are very self-explanatory and logical once we go through them. Next is F lowercase m, 7. Lowercase m means minus 7. So we're playing 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7. So when we are walking and when I get onto walking, that is the chord we're going to be walking over. We then have a B7 again. So we have a dominant 7, B flat, 1, 3, 5, flat 7. So when we get to that bar, that is the harmony that's happening. That does not mean we would play the notes in that order. That is a big mistake people make when they start to play walking bass. They just kind of walk the chord tones. That sounds like rock and roll. That is not generally how people play a walking bass line, okay? That's more a rock and roll approach, you know. Now we're going on to the second line. We're talking about Skylark. We're looking at this Mulgrew-Miller transcription. Remember, type in Skylark, Mulgrew-Miller. I will put a link in the description after this lesson is up. We are on the second line, and we have E flat with a triangle again. That's our major 7. 1, 3, 5, major 7s. Okay? So that is the chord that is being played. It's made up of those notes. Okay? So when we're walking on that bar, those are some good notes to play. Next bar is A7, again, dominant 7, 1, 3, 5, flat 7. Okay? When we get to that bar, it's that rock and roll bluesy sounding chord. Okay? And that moves to A flat with the triangle. Again, we're seeing that triangle symbol. That's A flat major 7. So 1, 3, 5, 7 from A flat. So when we get to that bar, the harmony is made up of those notes. Again, we don't want to just walk up chord tones. It doesn't sound that good. And then we have what is called a 2-5 to F, G minor 7 to C dominant 7, but happening in one bar now. So G minor 7, 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7, to C dominant 7, 1, 3, 5, flat 7. Again, those are the notes in the chord, but that's not how we're going to walk it. We're going to know that those are there, but that's not how we get good at walking bass. We got to know that. That's a given. How we get good at walking bass, though, is by listening to the music and getting these cells, which I will now get into. If there's any questions, please write in the chat, because I'm here to help, and we're talking about reading charts that have just been given to you, understanding chord symbols, and playing walking bass. I'm trying to deal with a lot of things at the same time, but you know, I think that's pretty cool. So now we're going to listen and we're going to try play this music. So please try follow along. Skylark, Mulgrew-Miller, solo transcription. It comes up first when you type that into YouTube. So take a listen. F minor 7, B flat 7, E flat, A flat, G 7. Where's the chat? What? How do I see the chat? Damn. Oh, please can you type that again? Unless you deleted it, but I lost you. I lost that message. Okay. So now we heard it. Could you hear that I didn't walk? I kind of played what is called a two feel. So before we get to walking, let's talk about a nice two feel. Okay. A two feel is this. 1, 2, 3, 4, boom, ging, boom, two, dum. You're holding the note for 2 beats. I'm going to do it again with the same harmony and take a listen. One, two, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So what you do is, a good thing to do is mix it up. Put your two. I didn't fully understand the question. I'm sorry. You said I thought you had to mix it up or follow the progression. Yeah. Maybe try and just phrase it a different way because I couldn't understand properly. Okay, so a two feel here. What we're going to do is we're going to play the root on beat 1 and we're going to play the 5th on beat 3. That is if there is 1 chord per bar. When there's 2 chords in 1 bar, we're just going to play the roots for now. So we're going to go like this. This is E flat. So I'm just playing E flat to B flat. A 1, 2, 1, 2. The next bar, G half diminished to C7. I'm going to just play roots. But check the little slide. That's an absolute Ray Brown or John Patitucci move. Sliding into both. Because when you play double bass, it's fretless. The slides add that character. And I'm playing with 1 finger and I'm playing here. Okay. You get a more warm, woody sound when you play over the fretboard. Okay. Then we got F minor 7. Again, I'm going to play roots on beat 1, 5th on beat 3. 1, 2, 3. So again. Okay. Ba-boom, bam, doom, boom, ba-boom, ging, gong. There, to get from E flat major to A, look what happens. And this is important. E flat to the 5th. Now I've ended up on the B flat because that's the 5th of the E flat major 7. The next place we go to is A dominant 7. So I'm going to just move that down a semitone. And the 5th is going to go down a semitone to become the root of the next chord. And then I play the 5th below. So check that move again. E flat major 7, going to A dominant 7. So I'm going to play it like this. Because you get some voice leading going on. A 5th descending a semitone to the root. Chromaticism is powerful. Voice leading is powerful. And it's not boom, these kind of big jumps. If you want to, that can be a nice effect. But what I did there was voice lead. Okay, so that is a two feel. Take a listen to the bass. Here. C. 1, 2. He's just putting ornaments around a two feel. And how you do that is you start to suggest walking. And walking is 4 quarter notes in 1 bar. When you're playing a two feel, you can add a bit of momentum depending on the dynamic of the soloist. Listen to the soloist. No one ever talks about that in books and courses. So check it out. Start to suggest walking by adding in a note in the scale or a note that is leaning chromatically towards the next chord. So for instance, E flat, boom. You see, now I started to suggest that I'm going to walk by playing, instead of on the F minor just playing octave and fifth, I went ba-gung, boom, boom. Now I'm playing 1, 2, 3, 4, boom. So I play beat 1, I play beat 3 and 4. So check it out. 2 feel. Ba-boom, ba-gung, ka-goom, boom, 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 ba-king, boom. So now what I'm doing is I'm progressing and adding tension because it feels like I'm going to start walking, but I'm not. Okay. So I'm kind of moving between a 2 feel and walking. As the solo progresses, you'll lean more from just a 2 feel into walking, and then lean from walking into more, 2 feel into more walking, and then into walking. Let me say that again because I fumbled all over that. So you start with a nice 2 feel. Boom, 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 bing. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Then in the next round or towards the end, you start to suggest a little bit of walking. You add in one more quarter note. Okay, so you play beat 1 and then you play beats 3 and 4. Three, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now you see I'm playing beats 1, beats 3, and 4. So that is a good cell to learn. The first jazz bass cell, the 2 feel, is beat 1 and beat 3. Boom, ging, ging, gong, gong, ging, ging, The next cell, rhythmic cell, that's cool is beat 1 and beats 3 and 4. Gong, gong, boom, gong, 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 gong. I'm like Mickey Mouse head. Gong, ging, ging. Okay, check it out. Again. Boom. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. See? You're starting to hint at walking. Let's carry on listening and steal some cells from the bass player on the record. All 2 feel. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Nice. Oh, you got one? Could you hear that there? Listen to that. Let's steal that. I love this. Listen. Ba-bum, ba-bum. It's like an 8th note. So check it out. We've got this 2, 5 here to F. Tikum, booking, tium, booking, kikung, kiking, kikung, kiking, tikum, kiking, kikung. A little trip in. So let's now work with these 3 things. We've got more vocabulary. We got a 2 feel. we have a 2 feel with an additional quarter note. And now we've got this little jump. Ging, gung, 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 ging, gung. We're getting more information. 1, 2, 2 feel. 1, 2, extra quarter note. Extra quarter note. Boom, skip. You see, now I'm starting to improvise. I'm not just playing them the same all the time. I'm starting to mix it up. 2 feel with the extra quarter note, 2 feel, and the little skips. Boom, kicking, gong, 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 kicking, kicking. Okay, let's keep listening. Now he's walking. Okay, there's a bit of an advanced vibe here, but there was like a triplet skipping thing happening here. Let's just take a listen to that. So this is an important rhythm to get down when we're learning to play jazz and learning to play walking bass lines. It's that triplet feel. You got to hear that underneath everything. It's like an underlying pulse. Yes, you have a quarter note. Boom, 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 boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. This is like the big beat. But underneath that, you got to feel. That is the swing thing. So let's try get that happening at a slower tempo. For instance, on that G half diminished or G minus 7 flat 5, going to C7. So I can get that kind of rhythm happening. Let's try do it here. Boom. And it's muted, okay? It's not this. No, not this. It's... You got to get some muting happening. So just practice that rhythm and deciding which notes are going to pop out and which notes are going to stay in.